Hello and welcome to my channel FaxaKnits. My name is Sarah and in this tutorial I want to show you how I do bind-offs like these. This is called the Italian bind-off and there are a lot of videos about this on the internet, but I think I have a little bit of a different way to do it. And this is the video where I want to show you how I do my bind-offs. For today's video, I prepared two knit pieces in 1x1 rib. One was knit in the row and the other one was knit in the round. So before we can tackle our Italian bind-off, I have to explain you a few things about the anatomy of a stitch. First, we will look at the row. By stretching the fabric, you can identify a knit stitch and a purl stitch. And by looking very closely, you can see that the knit stitch leans like towards this and the purl stitch leans towards this. By stretching our round, we can also identify the knit stitch and the purl stitch. But in the round, you will recognize the knit stitch leans toward this and the purl towards this. This creates, like, let's say, an A. But for the row, we have a V shape. So that's a very important difference because we have to do a step before the bind-off for the row that we can omit in the round. We will start with the Italian bind-off in the round. You will need a darning needle without a sharp tip. You will need a yarn tail that is around 3 to 4 times the length of the distance that you want to bind off. 3 times when stretched, 4 times when not stretched too much. Today I will use a contrast color for the bind-off so that it's easier for you to see. Of course, you will need the tail that is already on your knit piece. We will repeat 4 simple steps all over again, and I will show you these so you can write them down or make yourself a screenshot. So, from behind means between the two legs of, for example, this stitch, from behind to the front. From the front means between those two legs of, for example, this stitch, from the front to the back. So the first step was from behind in the second stitch, which means from behind, from there, in the second stitch, and from behind in the first stitch, which is this one, and off the needle. From front, from there, we grab the second stitch and also from the front, we grab the first stitch, which we already did from behind. Work it from the front now and pull it off the needle. Each stitch will be worked twice. Let's do it again. From behind into the second stitch on your needle. From behind in the first stitch on your needle and off. From the front into the second stitch of your needle and from the front into the first stitch on your needle and off. And you can start to see the knit stitches that come together up here. Let's do it a third time. From behind into the second stitch on your needle, from behind into the first stitch on your needle and off. From the front, I'm here, and from the front, I'm knitting through the legs of the second stitch and step 4 from the front to the legs through the first stitch and off the needle. Okay, one last time. One last time. From behind to the second stitch, from behind through the first stitch and off. From front through the second and from the front through the first stitch and off the needle. And that's it. Now let's move on to the Italian bind-off in the row. As I mentioned earlier, we have a step to do before actually binding off. And this is because we constantly change the direction when knitting in the row. We're constantly knitting from one side to another instead of working in the round, always in the same direction. And this leads to the stitches turn around every time we change the direction. And because of the fact that we also change the direction directly before we bind off, we have to change the direction of the stitches before binding off. I will show you how to do this. We can take the stitch like this and like this, just like they are, but this will not change the direction. What we have to do before binding off is we have to change the direction of the stitch. We take the stitch from here, leaning like this, and we want to twist the stitch so it leans to the other direction. Like this, like this. We will do this zigzag motion to turn around our stitches. Very slowly, the stitch leans like this, and we want to turn it so it leans like this. So we grab it from here and turn it. And now it leans like we want. We will do this for the whole row. And then push them back to the beginning of the needle. Our working yarn is waiting for us there. And now all the stitches are laying in the direction they would lay when we were working in the round. And now we are prepared to do our Italian bind-off just like we did it in the round. We remember the steps: from behind, from the front. In this case, we can start from behind because our second stitch is a purl stitch. So we have to grab it from behind the needle and like stab it from the front. And then the first stitch from the front and off the needle. just like we did it in the round. And now, from the front, from behind, sorry, and from behind. From the front, from the front, and off the needle. From behind, from behind, and off the needle. So by turning the stitches, we prepared them to be grabbed like we were used to do it from working in the round. From the front, from the front. From behind, from behind. And off the needle. And now we have the same picture that we achieved when working in the round. So that is it for today's video. I hope it was helpful for you, and please feel free to leave any comments or feedback you may have in the comment section down below. Enjoy the rest of the day, and I hope to see you all again in my next video. Bye!